Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome, dear devotees, and thank you, Shubh Vilas Govind Prabhu, for inviting me. So, I hope that in this family of disciples and aspiring disciples, friends, well wishers of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, uh, I will begin with the journey home story. And over the years, many times we would hear about his mm, meeting with Prabhupada, coming to India. And the funny aspect is, now I'm just calling it funny, it was his god brothers who would say that, why don't you tell that story? Why don't you tell this story uh, about your close friend, Gary? And one time in one Sunday feast, one god brother said that, Maharaj, you were one of those very few devotees who met Prabhupada before joining ISKCON. So, could you please tell something about that? So, the Mumbai Cross Maidan story, how out of thousands and thousands of people, Prabhupada told Gurudas Prabhu that call that boy, and Gurudas Prabhu came all the way down through the milling crowd and told Maharaj that Swamiji is calling. And that time Maharaj had hair below his shoulders practically. And he was on his way to Amarnath because that was one place which he had not been. It is Lord Shiva's place, and it was full of excitement. And then he sees this big billboard, Hare Krishna. That was Shamsundar Prabhu's idea. And then he just goes there. Prabhupada tells him to come on the stage. Prabhupada told him to sit there. And for the rest of the days, all days, Maharaj was told to sit. And he said, I had not accepted either Bhakti movement or Prabhupada as my guru or whatever. Then he loved the Krishna book, which he saw outside. They had a stall, and of course, had no money. And somehow, those devotees whom he met, Giriraj Swami, at the time was Giriraj Brahmachari, Malti Mataji, mm, Sham Sundar Prabhu, who was the organizer, Gurudas Prabhu, and they, I don't know what they did. They either gave him for free or something like that. So he liked that. Program over, and he took the train to go up north. And of course, as he writes in the journey home that Krishna had other plans, he got down at Mathura and couldn't get inside the train. It was so crowded. Now I remember that we used to think how nice, how strange. Uh, like one thing, Tamal Krishna Maharaj had a reputation of being a very strict person, and he carried himself with that aura, rightfully so. So in Vrindavan, Maharaj had seen how devotees would respect the Babas or saintly personalities. So he just ventured to touch his feet, and comes a thundering command from Tamal Krishna Maharaj: no one touches Prabhupada's feet. Because Prabhupada had told that you allow someone to touch your feet, their karma comes on you. And the devotee said, oh, really? So Prabhupada should not be exposed to just taking karma from anybody and everybody. Of course, later we knew, we came to know that there is an antidote. If someone touches your feet, you touch their body back. And I really don't know which verse has this kind of thing, but something like electric charge going from point A to point B, and then you touch back and again goes back to point A. I personally don't feel it is that simple. But the fact is that uh, you should not have that desire that others should touch uh, your feet and you can bless them. Parents can do that, and gurus can do that to their disciples, of course. So Maharaj, being a very timid, shy kind of person throughout, when he came to know that, oh, I could be doing some transgression, I could be doing some aparad, and immediately his hands kind of coiled back. No, no. Now all this is happening in moments. Huh? It is not like a long time has passed. And then he looks up and Prabhupada says, he can't touch my feet. So it's kind of a surprise. And what are you doing? Something like that. I don't remember the exact dialogue. Maharaj writes in the Journey Home. And he said, I'm living in Brindavan. And I said, oh, nice, very nice. So he met Prabhupada in Cross Maidan. He met Prabhupada in Vrindavan. And of course, none of us knew all the exciting and hair raising adventures of Turkey and Greece and Afghanistan. Now, I was thinking, if one such incident would have happened in my life, I would have made a video out of it. I would I would write, not only write a book, I would have done so much right from the beginning. So, Prabhu, when did you come to Krishna consciousness? Oh, come close. I'll tell you a story. It's a big adventure. He didn't feel that this story is worth telling. Why? Why? That's just his personality. So Bhakti Tirtha Swami, when he was on his departure bed, Maharaj was here. Now, this is a personal thing from my side. I was thinking, this is not, this should not happen. That they are so close, and Maharaj is here, and Bhakti Maharaj is over there in Gita Nagari farm. And then we heard that very mystical. In case any of you have known Bhakti Tirth Maharaj or come in contact with him, very empowered person, fearless, at the same time, again having that kind of shyness. Uh, that there is a book called Black Lotus. Have you seen it, Shubhilas Prabhu? There is a,
Yes, Prabhuji.
yeah. So in case those who want to know should read that book also. So Bhakti Maharaj once declared that this particular day I'm going to depart. I think it was the Narsimha Chaturdashi festival. And then he didn't. And then he explained that I wanted to, but Krishna didn't agree to my request or something like that. So Maharaj left India, went there, and I think immediately or something, he just rushed off to uh, Washington, D.C. No, I mean Gitanagari farm. And it is there that Bhakti Tirth Maharaj took taking Maharaj's hand in his own hands and saying that, promise me that you will write your story. Now, this is not there in the Januyam, of course, but this is how we disciples should be so grateful that uh, I don't think any disciples telling him or even a management body telling him that why don't you write your book. It is only when he gave that promise that Maharaj finally agreed. So we understand his childhood, how his parents found that why is he so different from others? Why he doesn't like new things, new shoes, and he would go and rub them on the pavement or whatever, make them little bit oldish. New clothes, he would take off the sheen, take off the newness of something. In a restaurant, he would sit on the floor. I mean, imagine in America, it's very strange if a family goes to a restaurant and one boy decides to sit on the floor, and somehow his mother would be supportive, saying that, oh, our Richie is very different. So one thing is the amazing love he had from his parents, the love uh, his father had for him, his father had for the whole family. So all those of you who are parents, uh, please understand what kind of a significant impact it has in the upbringing. Now Maharaj's parents were not even uh, they were strict in their own upbringing, so they had no interest in changing their religion or something. But they could understand that our son, whatever he's doing, is great, glorious. Maharaj used to tell of the first visit of his parents to New Vrindavan. He was in charge of the Radha Vrindavan Nath temple, a very small temple. And Maharaj had to explain that this is this is what I do here. I every day cook 6 times, 6 aartis for them, and when they saw Jagannath, small Jagannath somewhere, I think one of them they they mistook Jagannath for salt and pepper shakers. they thought they thought that these are paraphernalia where you take salt and pepper from them. Imagine telling your parents that this is God, I'm worshipping. So the high point was when his parents agreed to come to India. That was a very, very uh, big cultural change, not a shock. It could be a shock also, but at least that what our son is doing, what exactly. And when they met Srinathji Das and Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Rishikesh Mafatlal, Dr. Desai, Mahaprabhu Prabhu, Advocate Maheshwari, and this must be 89 or, yeah, mostly 89. either not 88 for sure. This was the new year, 89 or 90. But I had not joined the ashram, so it must be 89. I was working. I came back from my office and found that Maharaj is leading kirtan at Khar Road, Mahaprabhu's place, and his parents were dancing. His mother was dancing, and many times in Krishna consciousness, you are witnessing something you never knew what is the historical import of something happening, and 10, 20, 30 years down the line, you say, "Oh my gosh, that was the only visit at that particular place," and what nearly how much of persuasion was needed to tell them to come and see what their son is doing. And really, the parents had that cheer, that happiness on their faces. So that is one memory of seeing his parents here in India. Now I will jump to straight away to something which is very dear to all of us. What is there in Maharaj? What are his views and what is his outlook on devotee life? What is what is the meaning of being a devotee? Just last, oh, today is Saturday, right here. So this Thursday we had a program organized by one of our godbrothers, where Krishnachandra Prabhu shared uh, interaction with Sachinandan Maharaj, and Sachinandan Maharaj had asked him, why are you doing what you are doing? What exactly is your uh, rationale? What exactly motivates you? So this is very, very important, and we should all listen carefully. Uh, I'm repeating it so that I also understand it. We should all read the Lilamrit, Prabhupada Lilamrit, 6 books, at least once in our life. So we understand Prabhupada as a Vaikuntha personality. Almost every page of it proclaims. Now we are not into miracles and uh, babas and talismans and tying up something and bhasma. At least I used to tell my parents that why I joined ISKCON, because there is none of this good luck mumbo jumbo here. It is plain common sense. I haven't done anything in my entire life unless it appeals to my common sense. Why do you chant? Why do you offer? Why are you a vegetarian? Who is Krishna? Have you seen Krishna? Have you met Krishna? Have you seen your mind? What is intellect? What is false ego? I just use Prabhupada's devices, common sense tools, and it makes sense. So, reading the Lilamrit will help you understand what is this ISKCON that I have joined. Prabhupada himself, when he coined the term, he's kind of chuckled. Haha, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Nothing like this was attempted before. But don't think that ISKCON is like Prabhupada's brainchild. Thakur Bhaktivinod had already done something, calling it the Vishwa Vaishnava Raja Sabha. Just imagine a royal assembly. Now, this is all British language. 1890 ka language hai ye. This is all language which was prevalent at that time. A royal assembly of worldwide Vaishnavas. Isn't it amazing? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his dearmost son and spiritual successor, he could understand that monasteries and uh, like I Born, brought up in Mumbai, I never saw a mutt. But mutt is a name which I was not unfamiliar with. I don't know, all of you coming from all parts of India, whether you knew what a mutt is. But a Gaudiya mutt, 64 branches. Outside India also, Rangoon. And then the big ambition, sending a emissary to London, two big printing presses. So this was like mind-boggling, dazzling success. Unfortunately, the Gaudiya Mutt is stopped in its tracks because of clear-cut instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur that do something like this. This is how we wanted to get things done. And they thought that maybe we should do something else. The entire, uh, what I can see is like a, in Indian roads, you must have seen those road rollers, massive machine which can flatten anything on its path. So a road roller can make a road where there is none. It can just flatten trees or break rocks. What if the road roller itself kind of breaks down? Now you can't move it. It won't allow any traffic from behind to go ahead. So something like that. The entire mutt stops. Prabhupada still tries to continue some preaching efforts. Nothing happens. And then he decides to go to the West. And there in 1965, small storefront in New York, 22nd Avenue, ISKCON is born. And from that year till 77, till Prabhupada's departure, mostly ISKCON was in a project mode. We need to establish, we need to start a Rath Yatra. In the West, Prabhupada could see that, no, please understand, most of these things are not like somebody told Prabhupada that, oh, if you can't tell people to give you money, you can start distributing books. No, Prabhupada just could understand that begging is not allowed. Begging is a crime, most Western cities. So Prabhupada encourages book distribution. Then temples can't be constructed. So Prabhupada starts purchasing properties, Rath Yatras, farm communities. The other day I was hearing how uh, a restaurant was being planned in Hawaii, and it was successful. And then another was planned in Boston, but Boston didn't get any zoning permission rather. And that time they said, Srila Prabhupada, can we call it Sankirtan? And Prabhupada said, well, call it Govindas. And we can have a chain of Govindas all over the world. Now, why I'm saying all of this is these 11 years, 12 years, 65 to 77, in our excitement, hurry, and Prabhupada had, in his lectures, Prabhupada would say, I'm an old man, I can pass away anytime, but you read my books, but you read my purports. Sometimes he would say, the best of me is in my purports. What does it mean? It means in order to understand me, my message, my institution, read the Bhaktivedanta purports. So, coming back to our topic of what is Radhanath Maharaj's mood, why does he do what he do? He kind of thought that people can join for a project people can give for a project. Like we have the marathon here now. You also must be having December marathon. And normally Maharaj encourages that do the best, whatever you can. Let us do it for Prabhupada's satisfaction. This time he said, let us try to aim for becoming number one. Hey, that's very rare. Maharaj is not an ambitious person and he doesn't want the glories, he doesn't want the Maha Garland or Mayapur. They give Mayapur cake. Now, these are the things which we were told that if your temple becomes number one in Asia or whatever category, top 10, then you are invited. You get Radharani's Maha. You may get a Maha jewelry or whatever from Radha Madhav. Imagine. At least the first time I went to Mayapur, the Mayapur cake was a big attraction. So Maharaj said, yeah, we are not ambitious, but we are dedicating this marathon in the sacred memory of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami. For his satisfaction, we should aim to become number one. So, in case we succeed, we can tell with our chest filled with spiritual pride that because Gopal Krishna Maharaj mercifully blessed us, we could do so many books this year. So, what the point we are going to discuss now is actually summarized in a small sutra called People over Projects. Projects are to be used and people are to be loved. And if the opposite happens, it is horrible. If if you find yourself where projects are loved and people are used for that, that goes against the grain. So Maharaj was telling that for it's not like he he would write down his thoughts somewhere. It is all kind of all the time thinking that what if I plan things in a community where we put more emphasis on people. So that is the foundational understanding of the Radha Gopinath community. When he came here, I I honestly don't remember. I don't claim to have seen, but people say there were rats which could frighten away cats. They were so huge, and it's 120 or so years old building. The Radha Gopinath building was with some Nawab. I really don't know. But some royal family owned it. They sold it to someone. And when you come here, you'll see the Lady Northcote Hindu Orphanage. So there was a plague. Many Hindu families, many kids were orphaned. So many industrialists, and two of them prominent, they said we should have something for these poor orphans. And thus this property was purchased for the orphanage. This was the property that Maharaj found himself. And initially, it was such a big struggle. So, in that Thursday program, I don't know who mentioned it that in order, okay, so you need to have people and you need to love them. How do you love them? Many people can claim that, yeah, I love, I love, I love. So Maharaj said, I decided to do it in such a way that chanting of the holy name and Vaishnava association, that becomes the backbone of our community. That we come together for chanting, we come together for dancing, and as much as possible associate with each other. So I have written something for my notes today that now this comes from his classes. Vaishnavas are those who draw strength from each other. Now, how is it possible that I can claim I can give you strength? But Maharaj said, no. It is not like if Shubhilas Prabhu comes to me and asks something and I talk to him about some spiritual aspect and he says, wow, that was such a nice point. I would be foolish to think that this was my point or this was something which uh, came through me, something which is based on my sadhana. The next moment I could be in need, and unless I humble myself and go back to Shubhilas Prabhu and say that, Prabhu, what to do in such a situation? And if I am doing it in the right way, Krishna will speak through the devotee whom you have asked. So when you ask, you express humility, you exhibit humility. And when you get the answer, Krishna responds with his compassion. That's the mathematics. That's how it works. So we are all in need and we are all in a position to give. It is just a matter of discovery, how we do things. Another memory, and I was in the kitchen in the beginning years, and on Sundays we had to make puris, 19 kilos of wheat flour, 19 kilos atta. And three of us would be kind of sitting on our knees and punching that dough. My God, so many experiments. The puris would never come right. Sometimes one puri could be having three states of half cooked, half burnt, and rest soggy. So, and we used to run from pillar to post whether somebody knows how to make. Now, if you make four puris, eight puris, that's easy. But to make puris for 800 people, that was a difficult. So, Sanat Kumar Prabhu had a brilliant brainwave. He said that, hey, people are suffering from our Sunday feast. Let us give them chapatis. You say, oh, wow, chapatis. If people eat at least three or four chapatis, it could be almost 3,000 chapatis to be made. He said, yeah, I have asked for some help. Some Matajis are coming. I have also ordered some rolling pins and we can manage. So that morning we started very early and we were making chapatis and properly putting ghee on them. Sorry, ghee was not allowed at that time. We were not that rich. So we were using, I think, sunflower oil or whatever. Then Maharaj started the Sunday feast class and he saw that none of the brahmacharis are visible. So he said, what happened? And there was nobody. So one householder, he came down and he said, hey, what are you guys doing? Maharaj is furious. He actually said, have they gone on strike or something? I never knew that. brahmacharis are not paid laborers, so I don't think we can go on strike. Or he thought maybe they've all left, but that also is not feasible. Not everybody will rebel at the same time for the same cause. So one by one, we went hastily, finished off the chapati business, and so the pattern was Maharaj would give a Saturday class, Saturday morning Bhagavatam class, Sunday morning Bhagavatam class. Then we would have a hearty breakfast. Then devotees would chant. Then 12 o'clock Gaur Aarti, 12:30 Gaur Aarti. Sometimes Maharaj himself would sing, dance, and then he would give a class. Nice long class. You can ISKCON Desire Tree audio or the Radhanath Swami box. You get 4,000 lectures. So I encourage you to immerse yourself sometimes in the 92, 93, 94 onwards. These classes have that kind of a thing. Class over, kirtan over, and Maharaj then calls a few of us and said, "What nonsense! Why are you not there?" With our chest filled with devotional pride, we said, "Maharaj, this time we wanted to serve the grihasthas by giving them chapatis, and that's why we were not there." And we thought that he would feel very happy. He said, "Nonsense." So we said, "Why? Why nonsense?" He said, "At least once in a week, I want that the brahmacharis and grihasthas come together in front of Radha Gopinath, chant Hare Krishna, dance in kirtan, in the mood of the servants of the servants of the servants of each other." And we said, "Oh, so sometimes you may be successful in savings few cents here and there, and you could be losing $1 million, something like that." He didn't disapprove of the idea that we did this for Vaishnav Seva, we did this for serving the devotees, but he said this is more important. So from this Sunday program, uh, the festival program, the evening programs at various places, then the yatra concept was born, that we should all go together. It would be great austerity for most, but we should strive. And so to the householders, he would say, please try. It is difficult, sometimes next to impossible, to extricate yourself from business, very miserly bosses, difficult economy, uh, terrible strain in running a household. But please do try. And then he would give them so much of credit. And to brahmacharis, he would say that please take it you as your sacred duty to make things as comfortable as possible. Like for so many times, we have had this discussion that Maharaj, why can't we make a simple rice dal sabji for yatras? No, every meal has to be a feast. Now, now if I say I'm getting old is a understatement. I'm actually facing severe old age things. And I would feel that, अरे simple dal chawal मिलेगा ठीक है. But no, minimum 8 to 10 items. So that also is a balancing factor as to how he valued the contribution of the grihasthas in supporting brahmacharis in their preaching. And this kind of concept where nowadays we can see the temple programs, satellite programs, and like we have something like, I don't know how many, 45 to 75 programs in a week. And the first time we had six brahmacharis doing a program the very same night, it was excitement. We were thinking, wow, how exciting. I have seen Sunday feast grow from 60 to 80 people to, like, last Narsim Chaturdashi festival was 4,000 people. And then somebody said, mango festival. So for the last few years, the entire altar is decorated with mangoes, about 6,500 of them. Anybody seen that darshan, right? And every visitor from Vaikalika Arati onwards, 4:30 onwards, till the last darshan, every visitor leaves with one mango. After the decoration is over, from the altar, straight from the altar, they are brought down. So Sharat Purnima, Vasant Panchami, Radhashtami, Janmashtami, Gaur Purnima, these festivals, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Puri, Yatras, the drama festivals, all of these are geared towards community spirit, serving each other in the mood of Vaishnav, Das, Das, Anudas. And the goal is, how do we arrange our programs so that an individual can devote the last breath of his life in Prabhupada's seva. This is what he calls community. That doing everything we can to help someone understand. Now, that means understanding their talents, their shortcomings, what are their strengths, what could they do. Like some of you may say, I'm a lady, what can I do? I'm just a housewife, what can I do? I'm just a student, what can I do? I have a remote job, or I'm an industrialist, or I'm a janitor. Whatever, your material qualification is not the criteria at all. What really counts is your sincerity, and whether the community is successful in bringing out the sincerity of purpose, then it is successful. So Shubhila ji, it is 7:50. Yeah, 7:55 my time. Uh, I think we could pause there. Maybe uh, I'm actually loving this. This timing suits me, and the purpose also is very nice, and all of you are so gracious. Maybe uh, I can do this multiple times in a year if you like and are interested. So now I would stop for some reflections, some comments or questions, if any. We have 10 minutes for that, 10-15 minutes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing so much nectar, and we are so happy that you are liking and offered to do this multiple times. So that will be a very big blessing for all of us. So I will coordinate and we'll set up future sessions also. So
Yeah.
so now, if any devotee has a question or a comment, you can raise your hand or just unmute and please ask. Anyone wants to ask or yes, Anant Vallabh Prabhu would like to, please. Please unmute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dana Pranam, all grace to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Anantaji.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna
seeing
Prabhu.
you.
Nice to see you too, Prabhu. And Pranam. Prabhuji, I had a question. Sometimes, thank you again for sharing such nice memories and nice mood of Maharaj. I was thinking that sometimes in our practice, we have moments of nice experience of our bhakti. Like you were sharing how Maharaj's mood was that where devotees can come together and have good association, and they chant, and they come together to chant the holy name as well. So sometimes in our bhakti practice, we have moments where we experience this, and then sometimes our mentality, as we continue, sometimes we don't have those moments of experiencing, the joy of bhakti or the depth of bhakti. Um, and we tend to seep to a mentality of like, oh, back when I had those experiences, or back in those days. How do we actually, make sure that we can come back to that mentality as we keep going forward? I hope that makes sense.
Okay, nice question. I hope I have understood. First of all, how's your diploma or something, some qualification you are aspiring for? How is going?
Yes, it's going well,
You,
Prabhu. I've finished my ratings, and now I've started working my
so you are a
certification.
qualified pilot now. Very good.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Wow, congratulations,
Thanks,
congratulations. Your
Prabhu.
parents must be very proud.
They're happy. They're happy.
Very good. Okay, I will begin with some fundamental thing. I had my notes, very few. I think I should be doing more of that. One question answer session. Maharaj asked, Maharaj, what is Vaishnav Sangha? That means if three, four of us meet and we have a nice pizza and then we we discuss, I tell some jokes or whatever, is that Vaishnav Sangha? Because all of us are Vaishnavas. So Maharaj gave a very high bar, like a standard of what constitutes Vaishnav Sangha. He said, if you associate with devotees and you have prasad or discussions or ha 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 and ho 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 and nice, if you come back feeling inspired for more preaching, if you leave that place inspired for more sadhana bhakti, that is Vaishnav Sangha. Like I'm giving a simple example. If I don't read Prabhupada's books or whatever, if I associate with few others and they say, yeah, I also don't read whatever. So if I come back feeling that, hey, the more the merrier. I never knew that many are continuing without doing this basic practice. That's not Vaishnav Sangha. It has to enthuse you. You have to come back inspired. Now, that could mean also sometimes looking after a sick Vaishnav and not talking about Krishna. You could be talking about health issues. You could be just somebody could be having a domestic calamitous condition. You could be talking that. Somebody could be having some financial difficulties, emotional difficulties. So, uh, like Maharaj once said, many times preaching occurs after the preacher leaves the Vyasasana. And we said, wow, how is that? Because while on the Vyasasana, you could be kind of roaring the message, but when you talk to someone, touch their heart. So the the logical thinking part is when somebody speaks from the Vyasasana, but the heart is touched when you actually reach out, spend some time. So this brings us to the heart of your question, that when devotees meet, we discuss Krishna. So when we bring Krishna in the center, how can Krishna be someone whose freshness was there 25 years ago? This is not a film party that we are discussing. Oh, Kishore Kumar is to sing very nicely. He's dead and gone. That Jiva who, uh, I'm giving an Indian example because you can understand Indian. Uh, he had a voice, he could entertain. But by reading Bhagavatam, we can understand that one individual soul did some tapasya, deserved it, and got the qualification. And almost all the songs or whatever was produced was within the three modes. So even people who were within the three modes appreciated that. And fame came, a lot of money and prestige, property, wealth. But everything had a beginning and everything had an end. Even if that soul comes back to this earthly planet, and by some mystic power, somebody tells him that, look, they are still listening to your songs. Look, this was the building which you purchased. Now, nobody will, if he goes to a bank and says that, this is my name, they say, sir, this account is closed. You are dead according to our records. So we need to understand that right up to the mystic perfections, what to speak of these kind of loose change benedictions. We use the word chiller in India. Chiller is loose change, but Krishna consciousness. Now, mundane people could be also be saying that I lost my friend and then everything changed and I don't feel like living or whatever, whatever. And we may have Narottam Das Thakur saying, "Oh, Ramchandra Kaviraj, my friend left. I feel like smashing my head on a rock. I feel like starting a pyre and entering it." We may say, Maharaj, don't you know that Kaviraj is not this body, he's a soul? Will that work? If you ask Prabhupada that why are our great acharyas lamenting like mundane people, he will say, well, this sentiment is not mundane. This sentiment is spiritual. So then we get this understanding that material sentiments sometimes are almost on par with spiritual sentiments. Almost. There is crying. There is no crying in the Gyan Sampradaya because they say, hey, you don't know the truth. No lamentation. So those who are doing impersonal meditation, no sentiments. But here, our difficulty is like we try to uh, discourage ourselves from material sentiments, and we haven't yet tested fully spiritual sentiments. That could be a problem. So that's why it is called sadhana bhakti. Once Bhakti Chaitanya Swami gave a nice example. It has stuck in my mind. He said, loving Krishna when you don't have any love. That is sadhana bhakti. Loving Vaishnavas when you don't have any love. Like what happens? Uh, Many devotees have experienced this. They join some ashram, join some temple, and they are convinced everybody is a pure devotee here. My Lord, I am the only one who is a neophyte. 15 years, they say the same thing, but in a reverse thing. That nobody is a pure devotee here, and I am the only advanced person here. Now, that is something which we need to be careful of. The first one was not exactly accurate, but a humbling statement. The second one is deadly, thinking that I am advanced and look at him, look at her. Like a classic Radhanath Swami story. One lady said, Maharaj, today's Ekadashi. It was a program. It was Ekadashi. I'm fasting. I didn't take a single morsel. And I see these people, some of them are senior to me, but they're eating. And they are having Ekadashi feast. And Maharaj was saying in this class that I was trying to tell her desperately. I was screaming inside. Your body is fasting, but your ego is feasting. So be careful. So, to summarize, it may happen that with some satsang or with some devotees, you may not feel that freshness, you may not see Krishna's hand, you may not feel very enlivened or whatever. So, one has to kind of accept that. But at the same time, one should understand that Krishna never goes out of fashion, Krishna never leaves. The potencies of Krishna never leave him. So if I go for darshan, if I go for a satsang, and if I don't get something, it is my fault. Prahlad Maharaj says in seventh canto, how cannot my heart be attracted to the Lord? The Lord is like a magnet, my heart is like a iron filing. The piece of iron has to be attracted naturally. So the commentary is given to us that we are also like Prahlad, we are also jivas, but we don't feel attraction because that iron has rust over it. So the magnet can never lose its potency because it is Krishna. So these are some thoughts. Does it help you?
It does, Prabhu. Thank you. I appreciated the point of the sentiments of bhakti versus in materialism and how they can be similar. But yeah, but I also appreciated the point of what is real association. How Maharaj shared that, where you feel inspired for sadhana and preaching. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Do we have time for one last question or?
Yeah, I have time.
I don't see any hand up, so maybe I'll take
Hare
the.
Krishna,
Okay,
Hare
yes.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Dhanavad Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna.
thank you for glorifying Guru Maharaj and enlightening us with this Banis, Prabhu. So, Prabhuji, I have a question about the connection. You talked about how Maharaj inspired his parents and Jagannath deities they saw and compared with something, and then and
Yeah,
then and then they and at the end they danced with the kirtan. So
yeah.
probably so he's Guru Maharaj is exalted. So he inspired his parents. But Prabhuji, like a person like me, I have like here in US that we have a lot of interactions with different countries, people and Westerners. So I tried to give them books, and I don't know they even open the books or try to. But in front of me says, "Oh yeah, nice, nice, Hare Krishna," like that. So, what could be the first step to inspire someone or talk about Krishna to them who doesn't know anything about this movement?
Just see the miracle that normally somebody would be coming to a ashram in Himalayas or the banks of the Godavari or Jamuna, Vrindavan, Kashi, and going to an ashram. And here is Mahaprabhu and his empowered representatives. And at Tampa Airport, Fort Myers Airport, Jacksonville Airport, somebody is getting a Vyasdev book. So it is glorious that you are doing it. One world record holder book distributor, somehow his meditation always remains in my mind. So this is how his meditation would be. See if it helps you in your own sadhana. This knowledge is coming from parampara. Vyasdev, in fact, our Kali Yuga Vyasdev is not a jiva, it is Krishna himself. Sometimes Krishna himself takes that role. So So Krishna has given a message to the jivas of Kali Yuga. Prabhupada is the commander-in-chief devotee, Senapati Bhakta. By his efforts, the message of Vyasdev has taken the form of a book. It could be anything. It could be a soft copy, or it could be a drive, a DVD, or whatever. Like the book is just paper and ink. Uh, the Goswamis wrote on parchment, on leaves. So knowledge is not confined to a particular media. It could take any forms. But this knowledge is like a love letter, and I am just a humble postman, a postal worker. So when you have something like 1131 Broadway Drive, Tampa, Florida, so you just go to that particular street. Okay, 1129, 1130, 1131. This is the house. And you just take that particular envelope and put it in the post box, right? That's what you do. So you should see every person, white, black, Hispanic, European, Caucasian, Asian, whatever could be their so-called sectarian affiliation. You see them on the in the mall, on the streets, or in town square, or whatever. Remember, you are a postman. Your job is to give this letter to this particular individual. So this famous devotee would say, so once I present the book, I would try to disappear from the scene mentally. That here is the parampara knowledge being given to a very worthy person. Now, what is the worth? What is the adhikar? Narottam Das Thakur says the adhikar is he or she is the most fallen. Just see the strangeness of it. In previous yugas, the most qualified would be given bhakti, the most qualified would be given pure spiritual knowledge, but that is Krishna. And Krishna also kills if somebody is doing any mischief. That same Krishna coming as Gauranga, it doesn't kill. Who stops him from killing? Nityanand Prabhu. Nityanand Prabhu told him that if Jagai Madai's offense, it deserves that they should be killed, then my lord, you have to kill practically everybody here in this planet. They're all mini Jagais and Madais. Nobody is better. So rather than killing them, you kill the mentality. So these are some powerful thoughts which can help us uh, in giving them the message of Krishna consciousness. Now, once that is done, whether somebody reads it, whether somebody comes back with a query, or whether there is a online program, whether it's a teaching thing, these are the ways in which devotees can use their intelligence. We have already done our job by giving them the book. Now, depending upon desha, kala, patra, time, place, and circumstances, whether our Baldev Prabhu, in charge of our marathon, was saying that in Croatia or Slovenia, maybe Slovenia, the capital temple, they give their scores as 6 Mahabig books, 10 medium books, 59 small books, and 29 people given invitation cards. So they have started this. That how many people we have connected today by telling them about whether there is a QR code where you can ask for any question, you can join an online class for the same book or whatever. So many things you can do. Your question was, how do we take them, help them take the next step? So these are the ways we can help them read the book, or invite them for a weekly sangha, or for just some prasad, or if we have a restaurant, we can tell them that, or a festival, or a Rath Yatra, all these things we can do.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. So I think we can stop. It is already 1.5 hours.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all your time and your glorification and helping us to enrich our connection with Guru Maharaj on this special day of Vyasa Puja. So, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Radhanath Swami maharaj ki jai, His Grace Shyamananda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you all.
Prabhuji. Hare
Vancha
Krishna.
kalpatarubhyascha kripa
Thank you
sindhubhyo
so
cha
much, Prabhuji. Hare
patitanam
Krishna.
pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Namo
namaha.
Namaha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Like Guru Maharaj appeared through your Vani. Thank you so much. Really
Thank
grateful.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.